top of the hour. So welcome to 1 Million Cups, Columbus, for another virtual event. So we're excited to keep bringing these to you each week. So we've got a great speaker today with Chris Borja, and we'll let him dive in here in a little bit. But we do open it up. This is, kind of networking, education, entrepreneurship stuff. So feel free to unmute and tell us who you are, what you do, where you're from, just a little 30-second intro about you. So if we want to, Mark, you want to go down the list?
Sure thing. So let's jump over to Andrew Cohn.
So I'm Andrew Cohn. I live in Cleveland, and thanks to Columbus, I get to plug in every week with Columbus. I'm an organizer for the Cleveland 1 Million Cups. Our model is once a month, and we hope to have a speaker for the first Wednesday in June. A small world story. I was doing some research for a company called THINQ.TV out of Arizona. And I didn't go very far, but I did talk to the founder, and she did a 1 Million Cups presentation in Arizona a couple months ago. So small world. You get around.
Awesome. Glad you're here.
Thanks again for inviting me.
Absolutely. Neil Collins.
I'm here. Yeah. Hi, Neil Collins, Innovate New Albany. Operating from the home office this morning here. And I'm also involved in several other businesses. My business Results Marketing Group, a new company I'm trying to launch called Crosswalk Energy, which is a microgrid company, and another company called Tiger Innovation. So that's enough for one morning, right?
That'll do. Glad you're here.
Thanks.
Brian Gintz.
Yeah, my name is Brian Gintz, and I have been I don't know what the word would be, a tender, I guess, of 1 Million Cups for a couple of years now. Took a hiatus, but enjoying seeing everybody do this. I'm a apps developer. We develop Flutter and Firebase apps, mostly for MVPs.
Awesome. Glad you're here. David Young.
Good morning. My name is David, based in Cleveland, Ohio. Here I'm invited by Neil Collins, and to support Chris Borja, I've been involved in a lot of his networking meetings, so I'm here to support him today. I am a process operation engineer, project management, and a professional speaker. Currently looking for a new opportunity in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Dean Pulliam.
Muted. Good morning, everyone. I am here at the invitation of Chris Borja and in support of his work here in the Columbus area. I am a strong networker, learning more skills as I go. I am currently looking for a new opportunity with a nonprofit organization in Central Ohio, having served my entire career in the nonprofit sector.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Denise.
Good morning. I'm doing Zoom on my phone for the first time, so I'm having a little trouble with the video. My name is Denise Fate, and I'm a realtor here in Central Ohio. I've been in the real estate business for about 5.5 years. I've recently joined several networking groups, and I was just scrolling Facebook today and came across this and thought it looked really interesting, so I'm just here to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sarah Jordan.
Hi, I'm Sarah Jordan from School LLC. We develop new casting technologies, and we're hoping to open a new plant in Grove City later in the summer. I'm actually giving a Tiger talk at Innovate New Albany next Wednesday on it's called like non-dilutive funding or something like that. Neil would know for sure.
That's right.
Yep.
Because they
How to fund your company with no dilution of the owner's equity.
Yeah, it's basically about getting SBIR and STTR grants.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And when is that? When is that presentation?
noon next Wednesday.
Awesome.
27th, yeah, 27th.
Great. Thank you. And finally, Jason Nami.
Hello, I am Jason Nami, owner of, and this is my daughter, Jace. I own LifeSys. I am a managed IT provider and IT consultant.
Awesome. And you're going to be presenting LifeSys next week, correct?
Yes,
No,
sir.
in 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, June 3rd.
That's right.
So I am excited.
Cool. Thank you. And with that, we'll probably have some more people join us, but I'll keep an eye on the waiting room. So, Steve, you want to take us through 1 Million Cups?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So this is 1 Million Cups Columbus. So thank you very much for everybody joining us out there. We'll post the video later because I think the Facebook stream is still not linking to Zoom right now with the new security updates. But we'll get it out there. So those of you that are on the call, thanks for sharing about yourself and networking. Very excited to have Chris. So if you guys are anywhere around Columbus, you've probably seen Chris, whether it's at a virtual event, whether it's been at one of his live events, or whether he's just out in amongst the crowd. He seems to be everywhere. So I had I thought I had it around here. So Chris and I had met at a food truck event, but it was a name that everybody kept saying, you need to meet Chris. Like, have you not met Chris? And I'm like, I know of Chris. I've never met him. And so one cool thing, and it's probably a networking tip, and I don't want to steal all your secrets, Chris, but about 2 weeks after we met, got a little card in the mail. So I had a picture of where Chris and I first met, where we took a selfie together, and then it shows up with my face looking great on a food truck on a 90-degree day or whatever. But, it was something personal that is those little networking touches and the things that you can do in your business to help you stand out. That's something, I've got the card still. It stands out. So without further ado, I want to let Chris share about what he's doing, the businesses that he's been able to build. And kind of, Chris, if you want to give kind of a little bit of your origin story. I know you're started, as kind of a self-proclaimed introvert, but then have been managed to, command the stage, and just how your journey has evolved and the businesses that you are running. So, Chris, Borja, welcome to 1 Million Cups Columbus. Take it away.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Yeah. So background, shy introvert, literally most of my life. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. But literally the first 37 years, I was stuck in silence. I avoided social settings. I avoided any kind of parties. Anywhere there was like a gathering, I would avoid. We tend to avoid things that we're not comfortable with, and I wasn't comfortable with that. I wasn't comfortable with public speaking, but had a decision to make. Do I want to live like this the rest of my life, and just kind of hiding and playing small? And I knew that just wasn't my calling. I had a bigger calling, and knew I had to step out of that fear. And so it started really with a decision. And after that, so in 2012, I attended my very first networking event was 2012. It was a speed networking event, about 60 people in the room, super intimidating, but I attended. I just felt called. Many of you probably felt like that at your first event, wherever that happened to be, but you had that anxiety, but you knew you're supposed to be there and get out of your comfort zone and do it. And at that event, I was uncomfortable. I was watching everyone else for the social cues because I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was the right thing to do or the wrong thing. I was just watching everybody else. But I saw a couple of people after the event that changed everything. Just seeing their way of being, just seeing how they were, instead of going around and chasing people around like a desperate salesperson, which I felt like I kind of was at the time, not admittedly, but now I look in hindsight, and I kind of was just going to these events trying to find different leads and prospects. But I saw that they were just composed and they're just standing there, and people would come to them with referrals. And then later on in the same event, somebody else would come to them and say, hey, I have this person, wanted to see if you can help them. And of course they respond, sure. Give me their information. I'll follow up with them and see what I can do to help. And I'm thinking that, that looks like a lot easier way to do business than to, when people are coming to you. I said, I think I close a lot more deals if I had people coming to me instead of me having to go to them. So I saw some potential, but I didn't know how to do it. And I kept coming back and went through School of Hard Knocks, figuring out what was working, what wasn't working. And when I got better at it, I realized that there are so many people that are not trained. So everyone knows it's important. Everyone understands that concept. Everyone says you got to go out and network, whether they're looking for a job, whether they've got a business, they've got a nonprofit, they've got any kind of mission that they're trying to get out there into the world. Everyone understands networking is important. The problem, however, is that most people are just never trained on how to network. So everyone's expecting to know how to do it. How are they going to learn how to do it? And the people that I found that were good at networking all did the same thing I did. They just kind of learned through the School of Hard Knocks. I said, who's going to teach people? And that's when I started my networking group in 2013. So a year later, just wanted to start a group to be able to make it more comfortable for people to connect and network, people like myself that were uncomfortable with it. A year after that, I realized that people were still running. Our group was slowly starting to grow, but people still didn't really know how to network. So I started teaching people at first just around the room, people that were lost, people that looked like myself. You could tell because they're the ones looking at their cell phone, hoping a notification comes in, so it gives them an excuse to avoid engagement. And I would talk to them and I would share some tips. And eventually I said, I'm teaching a lot of people the same things. And I started the first workshop. Still shy, still introverted, but I said, I'm going to do it. So I did my first workshop, and then that led into what I do today, which is become a better networker. So that's my coaching and consulting, training, speaking arm of the business. And also converted from the networking group in Dublin, where I started, and changed that over to, the beginning of this year, and consolidated 2 different groups that I started into one powerhouse group called Connected Networking Group. And our focus is to be able to just create a space for people to connect, collaborate, build relationships, and make some awesome things happen without all the salesiness and without the transactional type of feel. Because once you break down and build relationships, opens the door to everything. And so we focus a lot more on creating that community for people to be able to grow. So that's the journey that's taken me through till now. A couple of products that I have coming out. So I have Networking Breakthrough Academy, which is coming out next month. It's a full course curriculum where we take 1 month and help people to be able to learn all the skills that they never learned, everything to give them the clarity that they need on who they are, who their clients are, different paths to reach them, giving them the confidence to network in person, and utilizing online tools and virtual tools nowadays, which are super important, and helping them also to create the community around them that a lot of times is missing with a lot of sales strategies, is not building community along the way, which serves everyone. So one of the things I've learned is that, even though at the time when I started, I had a product that I was promoting and offering, people would go the other direction. They wouldn't necessarily run to me. So for example, does anyone out there have left voicemails and people didn't return your voicemail? Does that happen to anybody? Raise your hand. Right?
Oh, yeah.
All of us. Anybody send out emails and people don't respond to emails? Text messages, same thing. So what I found is that if people aren't responding to us when we see them next time, are they going to be more likely to pretend they didn't see us, or are they going to come running to give us a hug? And so I found that because they didn't return my voicemail, they feel guilty, so they wouldn't come see me. So I said, there's something wrong here with this strategy that I'm using of working through the numbers, because it's causing more distance than bringing people closer. I realized that the product I was offering was awesome, but it wasn't why people wanted to connect. As I started growing a network, people started coming to me. So as all of you go out there and build your networks, you'll find people start coming to you, not necessarily for your product directly, but because you know people. And that becomes the value that you offer. A lot of times people wonder, what's the value that I have to offer? They're not buying my product. And I ask myself that question. So if they don't need my product, why would they want to stay in touch with me? Well, having a network is a great reason for people to stay in touch with me, with you. And so it builds that community up and really allows people to be able to be served. And it puts you in a position to where if they know that you know everyone, and it's not true that you really know everyone, but it's just a saying, right? This is perception. But they feel like you know everybody in town. and they go to you, hey, I have a basement flood. Who do I need to call to pump out my basement, or to be able to fix my roof, or I need a chiropractor, or whatever it is. If you're the source for that information and connections, then you're also positioned to be the first referral when they need your service as well. Does that make sense? Give me a head nod if that makes sense. All right, so that's what I found, is that building that community and building that all those relationships around you helps to position you in a way that people are comfortable, people send more referrals to you, and that helps you grow your business. So it creates like its own firestorm. And now we have a community of people serving one another, and everybody just continued to rise up together in this firestorm as it continues to ignite and spread. And so that's our goal. Our goal is to be able to create that, which is something that y'all are doing here with 1 Million Cups, is to be able to just create that community and that space for people to connect. So that's what I'm doing right now. Also have a book on the way, so I'm working on completing that here in the next 6 weeks, and really just here to serve. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to help. Our groups, we have several online events. We have a cafe that we host every Friday. I know a lot of people missing their coffee meetings. You guys missing coffee meetings? Being able to meet face to face. So we created a connected cafe. So we do that every Friday at 8:30 a.m. and simulate a real life coffee shop where people can meet in small groups. But we also have designated tables to where you can break off and just kind of click on the table and sit with somebody else. So Steve shares a story. We met at the food truck. It was kettle corn, and it was delicious. My daughter loved it, and I think I ate half of it, so I owe her some more. But Steve, hey, it's good to see you again. Let's connect, and we want to meet for a one-to-one. I can just message them. We both click on that table, and now Steve and I are sitting like face to face like this, where we can have that one-to-one conversation in a virtual event. So it's absolutely awesome. If you haven't been, come check us out. We made it free throughout all the pandemic so that we could just bring community together, and that's our focus and that's our goal, is just to bring people together. And from there, use it as an opportunity to connect to all the other things you do, to your businesses, to your group, to where you can invite people to different places. So we're just making that the one common connection point for everyone to gather at. So I'll open it up to any questions that y'all have, and be happy to serve in any way I can.
Yeah, well, and Chris, the way, obviously your networking events used to take place in person, that community and everything. Obviously, we've had a shift kind of in that climate, if you will, and but the platform, for those that haven't seen it, so you brought that platform. I've actually attended one of the larger events that was out there that we had people from all across the country on. So, and Zoom is great. You got Microsoft Teams and GoToMeeting and the webinars, that we've all seen throughout the years. This new platform is something that's a little bit different. It's got the uniqueness. I know you mentioned how you can go to the tables, but where can people go, and how often are you having those events? And what would you, I guess, describe that as, the way that it's more interactive than perhaps a Zoom call or something?
Yeah, that's really one of the things that differentiates it. On Zoom, we do have the ability to put people into breakout rooms. However, that's the choice of the administrator, organizer, to either make it random or to select certain people to go to different rooms. What's different with this platform is that the participant has the freedom to click on any table they want. And so if you imagine a visual of a banquet room where you have like all the round tables, like imagine an overhead view, and you have all the round tables, stage up front, and you walk into that room, you could sit at any table you want. The table can be labeled to be a topic or a theme that people might want to talk about, or it might be labeled for a certain sponsor of the event that people can connect with, or one of the speakers. It could be labeled as an area for people that want to network in Dublin or New Albany or Grove City or wherever it is, that they can be by table. So people can find each other at those different tables and have something common to already speak about, because there's a general topic there. The other advantage, so there's freedom. for one. Also on Zoom chats, it's harder. It's great for presentations, but it's a little bit more challenging for people to actually participate on a regular basis because there's just more people. And so the tables are limited to 6 people per table, very similar to how a regular table would be, which makes a more intimate setting for people to get to know one another. So there's no more than 6 per table, and then that table is full, just like a real table would be. The other thing is that on the platform itself, at each table, you'll see a little icon that represents each person sitting at the table. If you click on that icon, it actually provides links that that person can set up to where it goes straight to their LinkedIn profile. So imagine having a conversation like this, and with everyone you see on the screen, you can preview and click on their LinkedIn profile and see exactly who they are, see what they do, find common connection points, find people that you could introduce them to, or maybe people that you can ask for an introduction to as you get to know each other. So you can look into that on the spot. That's something that, I don't think there's any replacement for the face-to-face, but there are some additional features that these digital formats allow that never happen face-to-face. That's one of them, is that you can actually see everyone in the room, that if there's somebody there that you have to meet. So I haven't met Sarah yet. So I click on Sarah's, and then I could just send her a private message. Hey, Sarah, we haven't had a chance to meet yet. Do you want to meet at the one-to-one table so we can just get to know each other better? Or before the end of the event. Super efficient. You can't do that in real life and regular networking. The other button that's available on that same icon for each participant is another button to connect your calendar. So for those of you anybody use an electronic calendar, like a Calendly or Acuity or HubSpot or whatever. So it's super convenient. If you don't have one, go to calendly.com. You can get one for free, CALENDY, and you set up a calendar for free. It's really cool. It automatically syncs with your calendar. That way, when you book appointments, it takes it off the availability. But whoever wants to book with you can see around your existing schedule. They can't see what you're doing, but they can just see what's available times. So you don't have the back and forth of, hey, how about next Tuesday? Oh, next Tuesday doesn't work for me. I got the kids. Oh, how about the following Wednesday? Oh, that doesn't work, but I could do late. And it's like, by the time you do that, you don't meet because it's just so inconvenient and takes so much time, so much effort, you're just worn out. So that saves time. You can click on that button. It goes to your calendar, and they can book an appointment right there on the spot. So if somebody had interest in your services, just want to get to know you better, you just say, oh yeah, just go ahead to my calendar, just go ahead and book an appointment. And then it shows up in your email, it's on your calendar, done deal. So again, something that most people miss at live events. At live events, we hear things like, hey, we should get together again. Let's get together for coffee. And how many times does that not happen? And so this eliminates that. So super efficient way to be able to connect, network, use technology to be able to bring people closer together, and that's what we're doing.
Perfect. Well, and so for people that, obviously now you're leading stages, leading groups, but go back 5, 6, 7 years where you had to make that decision. Obviously you overcame the fear and everything. So for anybody that's looking at you and like, oh my gosh, I could never get up on stage or, be the center of attention at a group or anything. What advice or what would you say to those people that to step out of their comfort zones?
Yeah, that's a great question. And my answer to that is to be you. The reason I say be you is because I try to be other people. It doesn't work out that well. So I watch videos, I did trainings, and I saw these super inspirational people, and I said, I want to be like them. And I tried to be like them, but I wasn't like them. And what happened is that I was like, this just doesn't feel authentic to me. And I know now is a time where authenticity is super important. People connect with that more than ever. Because we have all these digital means, because we have all kinds of information out there, to me, the key is like that connection. So what I would say is, first of all, to understand who you are and to embrace that. So rather than be like, oh, I wish I was more extroverted. No, just embrace the fact that you're an introvert. If you're extroverted, embrace the fact that you're extroverted and you're comfortable talking to people. Like maybe extroverts don't get the results they're comfortable. It doesn't necessarily make them a great networker, because there's a lot of other skills like listening that maybe introverts are a little bit better at because they're not needing to be in the center of attention, things like that. So embrace, so number one is embrace who you are, whether you're introvert, extrovert, shy, outgoing, super energetic, kind of like low key. Embrace who you are and just build connections one person at a time. And so whether that's online or in person, one of the best ways that you could do that is just by getting to know more about them. If you do that, you already separate yourself. We hear so many people say, how do you separate yourself from the competition? And it's not that by saying that you're number one, because everyone says they're number one. That's a good way to make sure you look like everyone else is saying you're number one. I say the way you separate yourself is to actually take time, get to know people. It's like Steve shared, send him a card. He's like, I still have the card. It's a small token. It took a little bit of time, but it's a worthwhile investment because people matter. Steve matters. All of you matter. And as you run across people, to let them know they matter. And the number one way to let them know they matter is to listen. So embrace who you are. Second is to be able to listen to other people. That takes all the pressure off too, doesn't it? If you don't have to give the perfect pitch, it takes all the pressure off of you. Because I remember when I started, I was trying to say the perfect thing to be able to convert them. Why did I have to do that? Because that's probably the last time I'm going to see them ever in my life, because I had no follow-up skills. Because I had no social media exposure, right? So the second thing is to make it, help them feel important, because they are. And the third thing is utilize social media. So if you're just getting started, utilize social media. Here's where that helped me, is not the, blast everything and writing the perfect copy. But I'm talking about using social media to be able to continue building the relationship, to continue to make people feel important like they are. Here's the example, is if I had the option, if I had two choices, and I only had two choices and nothing else existed. So I had two choices. One was just like create killer content, well-written copy, awesome content, and not engage with anybody. Or the other option was I can't create any content, but I can engage with anyone as much as I want. I would choose the second one, because the second one will build more relationship than the first one. So is it important to create good content? Yes, absolutely. However, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose the one where I can engage with people rather than one where I just create content and can't engage with people. Of course, those aren't the only two that exist. I'm creating some extreme examples to make a point. My point is that with wherever you're at now, you can engage with your audience. Because on social media, one of the things people miss out on is they think about just the products and services they're offering, but they don't think about what everyone else is offering too. They don't think about what's going on in everyone else's lives. So people are literally sharing their lives, or what they want to be their lives, on social media, aren't they? So they say, hey, it's my birthday in next week. I have a feeling that birthdays are important to this person. They're like announcing it a week in advance so you don't miss it. They're read between the lines. They're saying basically, hey, my birthday is, I would love a greeting from you. And if you greet them, it means a lot more to them, and if they celebrate something with their kids or a class they finished, tons of opportunities out there. They release a new product. They got crickets. They're like, hey, I got this new product coming out. Nobody responds to it, but you do. Guess what? You just separated yourself from the competition. You just built real connection and relationship. Now, guess what happens when you have an ask at some point and you've been following, you've been commenting, you've been liking, then all of a sudden you have some time with them. You could say, hey, Steve, want to see if you have like 10 minutes? I got a new program coming out. When you have a few minutes, just want to run it by you, see if you run across anyone that would benefit from this. And Steve would be more likely to accept it because you've already been liking all of Steve's posts. You've already been engaging with them. But the problem is, and you know this because this happens to you, people connect with you and then boom, here comes the pitch. Does that happen to anyone? Mm-hmm. Right? You seen that? Here comes the pitch. And how much relationship does that build? You just want to delete them, right? Block, delete, ignore them. And that's what people do because they're too busy working numbers. So instead of like working the traditional funnel and you have to meet like hundreds or thousands of people and it funnels down into a one sale down at the bottom, why don't you just focus on the one person and reverse that funnel and let it open up to all the people that they know? Instead of working from top to bottom, thousands of people to work down to a few that become your client, work from the bottom, with the people, and then you get access to all of their networking connections. And here's another point, is that let's say that all of us, so I got Andrew, Mark, Sarah, Steve, David, we got Dean, Brian, George. Who am I missing on here?
Jason.
I don't see your name. What is it?
Jason.
Jason, Denise. So I see all of you guys on here, right? Let's say all of us go out into the marketplace right now and we network for a couple weeks and we get in front of 100 people. in efforts to get people to enroll in our products, our services, our goods, whatever we offer. Out of 100 people, if we converted 5 into clients, how many of you feel like that would be a successful outing, right? 5 out of 100? For most people, they'd take that all day long because a lot of people are less than 1%, right? Okay, so let's just use that high example of 5 people out of the 100 that each and every one of us ran into that become our customer. So here's the question. What are we doing with the other 95 people that we're meeting? Now, all of us here on this Zoom are looking for a different person. We're all looking to enroll, to register, sign up, gain as a client. 5 out of the 100. What about the 95? We're all offering a different product. So let's just say that with Jason, I say, hey, here's out of the 100, I ran across 5 of them that would be a good referral for you. Here's 5. And now Jason has 10 but he still did the same work. He still only met 100 people, but because I shared with Jason, then now he has 10. And I share 5 with Mark. I share 5 with David. So I shared those. It didn't cost me anything. They weren't going to be my client ever anyway, because they don't need what I offer. So I just shared those out. But guess what? It's just a matter of time before Jason, Mark, David say, hey, Chris, you've been pretty cool. Who can I help you with? Because they didn't even pay attention in the beginning, but now they're starting to pay attention. Say, what exactly do you do again? I can't remember what you do, but tell me, because I'd love to send people your way, because I'm meeting 100 people too. Now, if just the 3 of you, Jason, Mark, David, you return and reciprocate. Out of everybody I serve, only 3 of you reciprocate. I went from getting 5 out of 100. I'm still only meeting 100, but now I get 5 plus Jason's 5 plus Mark's referral of 5 plus David's referral of 5. I'm up to 20 people, 20 clients. And this is hypothetical, of course, right? But I'm trying to make a point that now I have 20 people that are potentially my customers when I did the exact same labor. So why would we do it any other way? Well, the reason why is because people are never taught this. They're not taught this mindset to see the exponential growth and the true value of networking, because we're too used to doing the one-to-one transactional. And every single one of us is doing 100 so we can get to, 40 people look at it, and then 20 people will look at the website, and and doing that thing. Why don't we build a relationship and then just expand that and reverse this funnel and explode it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of the time we're so focused on that end game and that I need the sale, or I need to close this, or I need to sell another XYZ. That authenticity, like you said, is huge right now, and should be. I mean, if you're authentic, it's a much easier game. So because you really care about people, right? So it's kind of that give first mentality. Like, hey man, how can I help you? Like let's not talk about my stuff. Let's talk about what you need. What are your needs and asks? And like you said, it comes back around. Let's open it up for the audience here. Let's ask questions here. See, Andrew's got his hand raised. Andrew.
So is this a subscription service, or you pay per event, or what's your business model?
Yeah, so the business model for Connected Networking Group is we operate off the free plus premium. So very similar to an app. You get a lot of people to use it, provide a lot of value for free, especially. So like the online version of it was a premium product that we were offering, but we made it free just because we feel it's the right thing to do at these times. So we just made it free so anybody can participate. People can invite others to join without worrying about being a sales pitch for them to become a member. It's free. But to be able to sustain it, we created a premium membership. So we created a premium, subscription model for people that want extra visibility and exposure and bells and whistles and different types of things to help them grow their business. So that's how we sustain it. So our business model is we bring people in, we serve the community, we use it as an actual collection point for people to meet and gather. And the people that want visibility and exposure in front of our group, then they upgrade their memberships, and that's how we sustain it. So that supports us and our business and our growth as we go across Columbus, across the United States over the next 3 years is a vision, and across the world in the next 5 years to be able to duplicate this model. And the reason why it's awesome is because it's really making a difference in bringing communities together and making the world a better place and creating that space for collaboration. So that's the business model for that. And Become a Better Networker, the model for that is more of like a school. So we have a 90-day intensive, a 30-day intensive program where people get all the tools, but 1 year of access to where they're continuing to learn and grow deeper and building rapport and relationship and actually implementing all the things that they learned in the first 30 days. So it creates that win for people getting everything they need, because everyone's in a different place and needs something different. We give them all the tools, everything in the first 30 days. And then the following remaining part of the year is spent implementing and making sure it's actually getting done. And there's actually accountability to be able to help people set these things up, like social media, to where also that's like one of the things, like when I set up my social media and had it done right, it took all the pressure off of having to sell at the first event, because all I want to do now is I just want to build relationships so I can connect with them on social media and let that do the selling for me, so to speak, right? So imagine what that would look like for you as you have your image, your brand on social, to where you just need to meet them, connect with them, and you could follow up at a later time, because they'll learn about you when they go to your social to learn, to gain all that trust and see that you're an expert in your field. People trust you and like you. So the model is to be able to create those events, duplicate them. It's free for people to join. For the people who want visibility, we'll upgrade them to where we give them that platform, highlight them at the events. And the people that need the support and training get that from becoming a better networker. But it's a cycle, so it feeds each other. The reason why our group's growing is because people are better trained, people are better equipped. And so being able to network with people that understand this philosophy, that buy into this mindset, that buy into this way of life of serving others first, that just creates a lot more wins. So it cycles. So we create better networkers, and then they go out and network, and that brings more networkers in, and then more people get trained, and it just kind of starts that positive cycle. So that's the model that we operate off, to be able to create, tons of value for everyone that's within the circle. That help, Andy?
Okay.
Sounds amazing. You're clearly not introverted anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm still introvert at heart, but I've learned to adapt in situations to where I feel like I'm blessed in that if I'm by myself, I'm good. If I'm with people, I love that too. So I feel like I'm in a good spot to where wherever I'm at, I'm enjoying it. So I have changed over the years.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Jason,
Yeah, Chris. So networking is something that I'm starting to get more into now that I have a little more time, and I wanted to ask. So what's the difference? And my experience as as an entrepreneur. Well, I've been an entrepreneur for a while. I haven't actually been trying to grow a business, except for the last, 2 years, I would say, maybe a year and a half or so. So I have looked at some, and I don't have a lot of capital. So I have looked at some networking groups. I'll just use one as an example, Am Spirit. I didn't join them, right? But I did go to what they give their free lessons or free classes, right? So I kind of wanted, and that's really my only experience. I did, and investigate some other ones and go to their websites and stuff. So I wanted to find out what your model or how you were different than, I don't want to say Am Spirit, but those groups, because what I got was they were all kind of the same setup in that way. So
yeah, so what you're talking about is a referral group. And the referral group, which is Am Spirit, is a fantastic group, and it's designed to create tight circles to where there's one person per category, and all the referrals are shared within the group, which is a great model and structure. And that's why there are so many different organizations and groups that do that, because it works. It's awesome. And so what's different with our group is that we're more of like the collection point for all people, for everywhere, where there's no restriction. There's no category restrictions. Even people within the same company, I don't restrict that, because everything we do is relationship based. And so I don't put any restriction, because I want this to be unlimited growth, because we're talking about people, not industries. And people are the ones that are connected to other people. Yeah. And I don't want to stop that flow. So what makes our group different is that we welcome everyone. And yeah, there's going to be some competitors in there, but we all learn how to work together. There's competitors in the marketplace anyway. So we just create this space to where competitors aren't really competing against each other as much as they think they are. They're both not known. Two people with the same company are still not known to the majority of the people out in the marketplace. So I don't see how they're really competing with each other when most people don't even know what they do or the services they offer. There's like 2 million plus people around here. So I don't worry about that stuff. That's what's different, is that we just created to where even if people are with different companies, which, you know, happens from time to time, but the majority of people are not, to where we just focus on getting together and building relationships. So like even our events, instead of just make it traditional, hey, what's your name, what do you do, we add fun games. So we do like trivia, or we'll do like a scavenger hunt. We've got like night owl networking. We do one crazy event. It's like 11 to 12:30 a.m. So 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. for our night owls. So we had them all. Yeah, one of them. They had one of the things we said. We did like a scavenger hunt. We give them like 60 seconds. They had to disappear from the screen. They run back with like something that we call out, right? So one of them, they said, I think one of the items was like pajamas, right? Pajamas. And then one of the guys was the first one there, and he stands up, and he like the business up top, pajama pants on the bottom. So we do things like that. We'll do like show and tell. We'll do like different things where they'll just run 30 seconds, grab something in your office and tell us about that. And then they'll grab a coffee mug that their daughter made, or they'll grab their belt from their 4th degree black belt, you know, in martial arts. So we're doing things to make it fun, to get to know one another and change it up. So that's what's different, is being able to integrate that into the online space, but also to where we look at online as something that's permanent. It's not something that we're just using it to hold us over for now. This is something that's permanent, that we're creating and building, and we're going to go back to the live events as soon as we can on top of it. But right now, the virtual is here to stay. I mean, we've been doing this long enough that it's become a habit. You know, you say after 21 days it becomes a habit. This has become a habit. We're used to being on this now. And there are many people that even when they can go out, they're still going to choose, hey, let's just do a Zoom call. So much more effective, right? So much more efficient. And then we can determine if we want to have another face-to-face, but maybe the initial one is here instead of the coffee meeting where we're not sure of where it's going to go. We just want to get to know each other first. So what we're doing different is just using everything, using all the tools to bring community together. That's what's different. And I'll invite people from other groups to join our group, because they can meet people as well, and they can bring people back to their groups. I'm not a jealous person. There's plenty to go around. You know, and so if we can just create community, I think more good will happen for more people than if we restrict it. So I love all the different models, and I just invite people to use what we already have to be able to continue to grow their own networks, their organizations as well.
So have you seen like a positive impact going virtual? Have you seen more rapid growth? Have you seen a decline in anything? And what's been your overall experience with that?
Yeah, so overall, we've still been growing. We've been growing on average about 100 new members per month. And so I think everything is all perspective. And there's always excuses for why things aren't working. Oh, because pandemic, because I'm on lockdown, because, you know, people are restricted. But with every crisis, there's also opportunity that's created. And for example, there's more people that you can reach now than ever before in history, because they're going to be home. They're going to answer their phone like, oh, good, a phone call. You know, let me get away from these kids. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, there's a lot of reasons why people think that it's why they can't, but it's actually why they can now. There's more people on social media, so you get your social media fixed. Get that thing. More eyeballs are on the computer now than ever. You could capture people's attention, and as soon as it's done, so guess what? Let's say that a magic wand, the virus goes away next week. Magic wand, boom, all the virus is gone. Everyone back to work. Well, guess what? Now the excuse that everyone has is going to be, well, you know, everyone's kind of getting back in the swing of things. Everyone's busy right now. They don't really have time to meet with me. They're trying to get back on their feet. So there's always an excuse. So I think with going online, it's just a matter of perspective. So the way I see it, more eyeballs are online. And at first I had my oh crap moment, to be honest with you. Okay. Like they said, you can't have events. I'm like, oh crap, for about a week. Like for about a week, I was like, what are we going to do? How are we going to make it? And then it's just all mindset. I just looked at what was possible, not what was or what is, but what is possible. And that's my challenge for everyone out there with your businesses. Look at the potential, even if it requires you to shift, even if it requires you to change, even if it requires you to do something different than you've ever done before. But being able to use the virtual platform is something that is, I think, helped, because it made this something that everyone has to use it to stay relevant, to stay in front of people. It's not an option. This is like all there is in town, you know. So like I saw like a valuation of Zoom, and it just went through the roof, you know. So that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this pandemic. But what happened is, so now we have the opportunity to be in front of more people almost on demand anytime that we want. And our night on networking was well attended, and it shows that literally 24/7 we had that access if you choose. You know, it doesn't mean you have to, but if you choose, you could. And so I see the virtual as something that has enhanced and that has actually helped, because now we have this new tool that already launched in January. So we launched our virtual events in January before we even knew all this was coming. So it was already part of our plan, but now people can see that. And for those that run live events or attend live events, you understand that there's only, some people just can't ever attend live events. But now we can cater to people no matter what. There's like literally no excuse. You can come to a live event, you can go virtual. If you're not coming to either of those, you just don't want to do it. That's all there is to it. You just don't want to come. There's no excuse. So we put on different days. So Mark, yeah, I think it's enhanced. If we look at it that way, it's enhanced and created a lot of opportunities for people, a lot of opportunities to innovate and change and shift, and to be able to take a step back and look at, where is everything going? Well, everything is going online. Like literally, I could travel anywhere and still run all the same events. I could be anywhere on the planet where I have internet connection and run these events and still provide value for people. And not everyone has that same opportunity. So I think it's just helping if we look at it that way.
Chris, I have a quick question. First of all, good job in your presentation. A really big supporter of your virtual networking. So thank you very much. I have a question regarding locations. Do you think different location will have a different networking results? And the reason I ask you that, I've been in Cleveland for about 2 years. Unfortunately, I didn't get the level of network or the level of people who are willing to welcome people from outside. And no offense to you, Andrew, I know you're representing 1 million clubs in Cleveland, Ohio. I only been here about 2 years. Unfortunately, I was just a little bit disappointed. That's the reason I'm looking for opportunity in Columbus. I feel like CBUS is more welcoming to people from outside, because most of them don't grow up in Columbus. So that's number one. So, but now you mentioned about virtual networking online on Zoom and remote. Do you think locations still matter in terms of the quality of network, or do you think it doesn't matter anymore because we can be connecting from all over the world to attend your events?
Yeah, I think that just it's what we create is what we create. So for example, we could look at what is there, and if it's not there, we create it. And you don't need a lot of people to build a successful network. You just need a few dedicated, loyal ones that buy into the same vision, and they'll find other people that are like-minded. And that's where you have the opportunity to create awesome networks literally anywhere. Anywhere you do business, it's gonna require network. It might look a little bit different. So if you go to some small farm town, they still network, but it might look a little bit different. So you wanna get in touch with the person that's kind of like the influencer in that area, because they are all networking through that person that knows everyone in town. So I think the dynamic will be slightly different, but successful networking can happen anywhere. And using these digital tools, you don't need everyone in town to buy into your vision. You just need a handful that do, and you can continue to grow from there.
But come on to Columbus. We're the best state. We're the best city in the state.
Where's the stats? I want to see some numbers.
Just look on your screen there. What else? Just come for us.
That's right. Sorry, Andrew. So I don't mean to say anything bad about Cleveland, so I apologize.
I don't take it personally, and I'm not sure I disagree.
Does that mean you agree?
I don't know if I agree or not, but why don't we connect and we can figure something out?
Absolutely.
There you
we
go.
might need to actually scoot back and bring back into the marketing budget.
Oh, we got the marketing budget. Yeah. So, well, and I think everything is situational, right? I mean, so you can, like you said, it doesn't take much to create, and a lot of those times we seek out when we can maybe create. And I've always kind of had those people that's like, you look at the people that share that same passion or that same vision or that same connection, and then it's like, oh, that's my dude. Like, that's my person. Like, let's connect and let's find, the commonalities there that allow you to connect and build upon.
My contact information is in the chat room.
Perfect. Okay. So any other questions for Chris here?
I have a critical question, if I Sorry for background noise. Chris, I've heard your last name pronounced two different ways. Is it Borja or Borja?
It's Borja is the official pronunciation. I actually went by Borja for most of my young life. And then I got into high school and realized that my last name is actually a Spanish origin because I'm Filipino. And so I realized that the proper pronunciation was Borja. But I grew up, when I started, it was Borja. When I first, my parents would go by that because they wanted, their first generation here. So they went by Borja initially, but the proper pronunciation is actually Borja.
Interesting. I'm a Texan. We mispronounce every Spanish word known to man. So,
Muchas gracias, Senor Borja.
Hey,
So,
David, your LinkedIn page.
Say it again, Jason.
I like your LinkedIn page.
Thank you very much. Happy to connect.
So, Chris, I caught some teaser out there, and you mentioned it earlier about the new product coming out next month. But why don't you give us a little bit more insight of what's in the works there?
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it because it's going to be different from anything that I know of in the marketplace. As I said, there's not really anything that I've seen that takes somebody from, if they're at zero, to like where they need to be at from a networking standpoint. There's a lot of great sales training out there, but this is different. This is all about relationship building to be able to get the results, if it's sales or if it's more donors or whatever it is. It's about building relationships to get results. So what it looks like as far as the structure of it, so I went over the three main components, is providing the person with clarity. So the target market are, for the most part, entrepreneurs, sales professionals that are out there looking to grow business. Even though there's many applications. But the first component is gaining clarity. And once you're clear, that's already a critical component of having confidence. A lot of times the confidence that people lack is they're not really clear on what to say. They're not really clear on who they're trying to reach. They're still in that point where like, oh, anyone or everyone. It's like, no, who exactly do you serve? So for example, if you just say I serve everyone, then nobody comes to mind. But if you say I serve people that had a kid within the last, that just had a child within the last 2 months, then maybe a few people come to mind. So even that example, you can see how it narrows it down and makes people more aware. So number one is clarity, the confidence to be able to utilize live events, to be able to use virtual events, to be able to use social media, to be able to grow those connections and networks, and the implementation of it. So it's one thing to learn about it. I think all of us have seen tips here and there, but the focus is to be able to help people actually implement it. So that way, when you meet somebody, you don't need to like sell them on the spot. You just want to build a relationship, get connected on social, because you get connected on social, that's going to do the heavy lifting for you. And the heavy lifting isn't the product that you're offering, it's you. When they buy you, when they believe in you, then whatever you offer, they might not even shop anywhere else anymore, because they just trust that you're going to give them the best deal or value. If it's not the lowest price, it's the best value, and they're going to get what they pay for. So if you can do that on social, that makes everything a lot easier. The third component is community. That's something that as people go out and attempt to do sales, then they usually bypass community. They just want to keep working through. And it works if you're a circus or something like that, and you just have to go in town, and then everyone comes in, and you got to go to a new town. But we're in the community, so if we're going to stay here, why not build that up so it's always there for us, and not like what I talked about earlier, where people looking the other direction when they see me, because like, oh, there's Chris. I didn't return his phone call for 3 weeks. Let me pretend I don't see him. I mean, why do things that way? So building community, which just, again, builds that positive upward cycle where we're lifting everyone up along the way. And as we do this, guess what happens to our overall network is all of our networks are growing. So for example, just by being connected with me, connect with me on social, just by being connected with me, let's say my network grows by 100 people this month, then your network grew by 100 people this month. You see how that works? Because you're in my network, I'm in your network. Mine grows, yours grows. So why aren't we collaborating and working? So by helping people create that community, it helps all of us. We can reach the majority of this town or any town that we want to be part of going forward. And the structure of it is virtual. but engaging. We're using that new platform. So it's not download. It's not a bunch of theory. It's not a bunch of lecture. It's not a ton of notes. It's experience. It's engaging. It's already sharing with people. And through experiences, those are things that we don't forget. So that's what we do in the classes. There's going to be 4 Saturdays, 6 hours each Saturday for 1 month. Provide all the content that you need, and you're going to be able to practice it with each other. So just an example with the elevator speech segment or module, imagine being able to practice with other peers and see what they're hearing, because it's not just about what you say, it's about what they hear. It's not just what they hear, it's what they understand. It's not just what they understand, but it's what can they repeat. If they can't do those things, yeah, what you said was perfect, but nobody's repeating it to anybody else. So imagine being able to get that and being able to hone it down and being able to practice it to where it's memorable, to where it helps somebody to be able to do all those steps and actually repeat it to others and help you grow. So those are the things that we focus, and I'm super excited about it because I haven't seen it done anywhere. And, I'd love for all of you to, have a conversation with all of you and anyone else out there that watches to be able to have a conversation and see how I can serve and see how this might be the solution to create long-term growth, ongoing community, and just being able to be, be in relation and community with one another, just continuing the growth cycle.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
sounds
that
very
plan-
interesting. So we'll have to keep in the loop and check it out, and then share it with the 1MC Nation here. So, and by the way, so like I said, I was off a little bit this morning with driving. So normally I go in and talk a little bit about 1MC and all that, but I encourage everybody on here to check out the different 1MC chapters. So there's 180 of them across the country. So it's put on by the Kauffman Foundation, which is it's a free program for everyone, designed as a networking and entrepreneurship group. So, but the beauty of it right now is that as we get off here, you can jump on anytime over the next 3 hours with the time zones. There'll be other people out there doing virtual stuff. But real quick, so we normally ask the presenter, what can 1MC do for you? I kind of wanted to flip it just a little bit with this group, as with the participants here, and how we can help them. As I know we've got people transitioning and looking for new opportunities. So how can 1MC help the people still here on the Zoom with us? Anybody want to go?
Well, I'm going to the cafe on Friday.
Well, I, for one, am not.
I
Go ahead,
say
Dean.
I'm going to the cafe on Friday morning, so I'll see what that's about.
There you go.
We copy.
I'm not familiar with 1MC.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Like I said, I normally do a little bit of an intro, but it was started in 2012 by the Kauffman Foundation. So the Kauffman Foundation is one of the largest entrepreneurship endowments. In 1966, Ewing Marion Kauffman, who owned the Marion Drug Company, owned and grew that, left a $2 billion endowment for the rise of entrepreneurship. He saw entrepreneurship as kind of the path for anyone to get out. Sorry, another Zoom coming in. Saw that as a path for people to get out of their situations, particularly in inner city. He's from Kansas City, so he saw that entrepreneurship could help a lot of people rise out of their own challenges. So he left this endowment primarily as education. So you'll see a lot of the Kauffman studies with things where the Kauffman Foundation funds a lot of different entrepreneurship studies and everything. But in 2012, they started a grassroots effort where they took it and wanted to create something where there was more of an actual connection happening, as opposed to just a study of what they put out. So it started in Kansas City. It's kind of been this experiment that escaped the lab, and like I said, is now in 180 different cities across the country. So it's volunteer run, all free for anyone to attend. It was an in-person event every week that you come around and gather over coffee. Hence the 1 million cups. If you've got 1 million entrepreneurs getting together and drinking coffee. You've got 1 million people that are connecting and sharing their ideas. So that's the premise of it, and it's kind of spread from there. We brought it to Columbus in 2018, I guess. It's almost been. We're coming up on a 2-year anniversary, so it's been fun.
It has been. Yeah, Steve brought it here. Steve is the lead organizer who brought it to Columbus in 2018. We should make that very clear.
It's the community's organization, but appreciate that. But so yeah, Dean, Sarah, Jason, anything as we
Nope. I'm just excited to present here in the next couple of weeks. So getting everything else ready.
Perfect.
Appreciate the opportunity and the practice.
Awesome. So Sarah, I know you're opening up down in Grove City, so we'll watch for that. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Come check out the Wednesday Tiger Talk.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing
that's
that.
right. Next Wednesday.
New Albany.
So-
I don't know if you're on their mailing list, but they have a lot of good.
Oh, Neil does an awesome job with stuff. Yeah. So
Anyway, see you guys.
Yeah.
take care.
Bye.
All right. So
Thank you.
well, thanks.
Thank you
thanks for
much.
attending, and-
Great to hear
yeah,
you again, Chris.
See you guys.
Good seeing you again.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining us. So we appreciate it. We'll keep in touch and watch for the launch of the new stuff. And thanks for being a community supporter. I know you're running the platform for different things and working on 614 Day. I know there's some things there that you've got coming using the platform that'll help out the community. So thanks for being a community player and helping people out. Thanks for joining us today. So
Thank you for the invite.
take care, stay safe, and I'm sure we'll see you very soon, virtual
Thank you.
or in person.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.